Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here, coming at you from the KnifeCenter. And there's a lot of big knives on the table because it's our favorite time of the week. We're taking a look at the coolest new knives that have just hit our shelves. Let's check them out. All right, first thing up this week, a couple of brand new exclusives this week from Boker, their Kwaiken Air series, both the mini and the full size. Got a few upgrades going on here. Obviously, there's an aesthetic shift on this. We've got burgundy linen micarta handle scales, front and back, and then the gold liners and pocket clip. Gives this kind of an updated, gentlemanly vibe, a little bit old school, but very classy feeling and different from the rest of the versions of this out there. We've also gone with a steel upgrade on these knives, S35 VN over the VG10 of the standard version. So you've got a nice bump up in performance right there. And the best part, apart from the material upgrades, which are good, but the best part is the price on these. We're actually coming in at about 80 bucks for the mini and about 90 bucks for the full size. A couple bucks less, in fact, than the VG10 version. So it's basically a free upgrade to the extra steel performance for the price. A couple bucks less, in fact. If you're not familiar with the Kwaiken Air, it is a Lucas Burnley design, kind of scaled down from the original Kwaiken. I shouldn't say scaled down, but narrowed down in terms of its profile. And the full size, I think, is excellent, but the mini, I think, is even more excellent. And the reason I say that is just this narrow profile and the size, I think, work exceptionally well as an executive knife, and really is, kind of where that we've kind of coined that term from, a more premium competitor to something like the CRKT CEO. Nice pencil-like profile in the pocket. Blade completely vanishes, but for the flipper tab, of course. Very easy to carry. You've got an almost fully deep carry clip right there, very classy looking, and great flipping action with the ball bearings in the pivot on this particular knife. Very, very nice. Blade length 3.07, so just over 3 inches. Length on the big one, 3.5. KnifeCenter exclusives, more performance for even fewer dollars than the originals. All right, next up, we have something else that's long, narrow, and red. Get your mind out of the gutter. A new version of the CIVIVI 452 from Zero Tolerance. Very cool knife, always has been, still is. 280 bucks, 4.1 inch S35 VN blade, titanium frame lock on the back, and a red and black weave carbon fiber on the front with some red barrel spacers on the back to kind of pull that color out just a little bit. This is another knife that, while I would certainly not call this a quote-unquote executive knife. It's not a very gentlemanly thing. It's more of kind of a blinged up tactical thing. It's a lot of knife in a small package, or an easy to carry package. I mean, look at that. It doesn't take up a whole lot of width in your pocket. It's not overly bulky, and yet it still has an overbuilt yet agile feel to it. A lot of reach and a lot of maneuverability at the same time. The weight on these, 4.6 ounces, so it's not quite under that quote-unquote 1 ounce per inch of blade benchmark that some folks like to subscribe to, but it's not that far off, and it doesn't feel like it needs any weight reduction, quite honestly. It's just excellent. Black wash finish on the blade, KVT ball bearings in the pivot, pocket clip, which is reversible for either side, almost a deep carry design, lanyard hole, flipper tab, very nice. The other cool thing about the grind on this, slightly thicker on the blade stock itself, but to kind of counteract that a little bit, they've given it that nice long swedge, almost full length along the spine, removes a bit of that drag from what would otherwise be a full thickness spine. Just a fantastic design, and I'm glad to see them still breathing life into it. All right, next up we have many fixed blades to talk about, which excites me very much. First up, we have the Nomad EDC from Work Tough Gear. I'm not gonna spend too much time on this knife because we just featured it in our best new fixed blades of the year, which posted earlier this week. I would encourage you to check that video out. I talk more about this knife there. But these new versions are about $159, so about $10 cheaper than the first production run, which we had earlier in the year. They've switched to N690 steel on these and removed some of the extra grooving on the handles. Actually, I like these versions even better. It's a little bit smoother, but you still have a ton of grip. You still have a full grip and a very comfortable grip, despite a look that might appear to be not too comfortable. In fact, it is, which surprised me very much. And then the blade length, 3.5 inches, and you've got, I'm gonna go ahead and call it a tactical Nessmuck blade shape. It's not a reverse Tonto, Thomas.
I disagree.
Work Tough calls it a reverse Tonto. But you've got a strong tip for piercing, you've got a long sweeping belly across the whole edge, and it's a really cool blade shape that I keep using the same phrase because I can't say it any better. It's a blade that attempts to, apparently I can pronounce it better though.
Speaking of attempts.
This blade shape strives to do just about everything, from tactical to everyday carry to camping and woodcraft, and it actually seems to pull it off, which is really cool. I like it a lot. Check out the full video, or check out the best of the year video earlier in the week. Well worth your time. And now we're gonna move on to a couple of other Work Tough gear products, some bigger Work Tough gear products. Both of these come in about $280 right now. And the first is the Wilson. Bam, that's the word that comes to mind right here. 10.7 inch long blade, SK85 carbon steel, which is SK5 carbon steel. They've just renamed it. Thickness, I mean, we're dealing with a 1/4 inch thick blade right there, and massive. Just this is when you want to just take out and start smashing stuff with it.
Let me get out of range first.
Good idea. Make sure the cameras are rolling though. Really cool blade shape. The front here reminds me a bit of like a talon almost in a way, but the overall shape, actually, what I'm really seeing is sort of a extended and beefed up spin on something like the Boker Machax, which they don't make anymore, unfortunately. But this gives me similar vibes. Actually, Thomas, you mentioned something about this knife that you thought it looked like.
Like a dwarf M18 from TMO.
Well, it's not. It's actually it's longer than M18. It's not even dwarfed.
Doesn't even look like it.
But kind of maybe a cross between something like the M18 and the Boker Machax. Not a terrible description, I'd say. It looks like it's ready to smash. You've got a ton of forward weight for a heavy hit. I like the kind of scooped out portion here. That's going to give a great place for hitting with a baton, as well as for gripping for draw knife stuff, which this recurve section should do pretty well for your outdoor needs, because this is kind of intended as an outdoor thing. I don't think this is really intended as tactical, but you could certainly do some smashy smash with it, of course.
You know what it is?
What is it?
It's the Condor Woodbuster going through its emo phase.
I don't know what that means, but I like it. You do have a finger choil here in front of the aggressive finger guard to choke up on. It feels, maybe it's a little bit of a wide cord to get around there, but it's not too bad for me anyway. It works well enough. Check out the refinement on that convex edge right there. Work Tough does phenomenal work. And oh yeah, the handles, they're G10. They've got some liners. They look really good. The feel is nice. If you've got really big hands, this might be a little bit small for you. Mine are slightly larger than average, and I've just got enough space right there. But you've got this big aggressive sweep at the back. What's the word? Pommel, beak thing.
The end.
To keep your hand from sliding forward. Apologize for my lack of vocabulary this morning, or this afternoon by the time you're watching it, or whenever you're watching it. It doesn't matter. Moral of the story is this is awesome. It comes with a Kydex sheath. Here it is. I'm not going to put it in here at the moment. And it does come with a belt attachment, which is kind of comical because this is a rather heavy knife. 2 pounds, 1 ounce. It also comes with a D-ring right here. That's the word. Man, words today. A D-ring here and another D-ring on the actual belt attachment point and a shoulder strap. So you can bandolier this if you want. Which would probably be the way to do it if you're actually schlepping it around. But it is a very cool design, designed by Jeremy Valentine, no matter what you call the blade shape. It's kind of modified kukri, maybe I would say.
Ish.
Actually, now that I squint. Very cool knife. We have another very cool big work tough. This one designed by Julio Diaz, and this is the Ape-X. Check that beautiful thing out. 12.1 inches of SK85 steel, same price, about $280, I believe. Cool apocalypse finish going on here. Big upsweep to the blade. Orange and black G10 handles. Slightly more room on this handle compared to the Wilson we just looked at. As you can see, I've got plenty of space on that bad boy. So if you've got bigger hands, if you wear bulkier work gloves, probably are going to be just fine with this knife. Really cool too. Again, 1/4 inch thick on the blade. This is not like something you're going to want to swing as a machete all day long, but I bet it hits really darn hard. And it's another knife you're going to be able to grab up at the top, do draw knife stuff really easily, probably choke up on it and use that front belly really effectively if you use a lanyard to stabilize it on your forearm right here. Just really cool. Same great edge on that particular knife. If you're, again, I always say like Hogue has the best factory edges. I gotta say, Work Tough gives them a run for their money, and they're actually probably even more refined. So maybe I gotta change my answer. But for folders, definitely Hogue. But man, just the amount of care and attention they give to the edges here is spot on. And the amount of extra details that they pay, or the amount of extra attention they pay to the small details all around on these knives, even though they're not cheap, I do think makes them a pretty good value. You're definitely getting a lot for your money, both in terms of actual material as well as actual build quality and attention to those nice small details. Oh, I forgot to mention the sheath. Again, same deal as the Wilson. It's big. You've got a D-ring here, and you've got a belt attachment, like a nylon belt loop with another D-ring on the side for bandolierage. New word, look it up. Next up, we have more fixed blades. I'm so happy. We have the Dawson Explorer Elite. One of several Dawsons. Actually, let me show the other one here at the same time. This is the Deep Notch fixed blade. Only two of the many different finishes and the many different patterns we've just got in from Dawson using MagnaCut blade steel. Very, very cool. So you get kind of a new tier of performance from these Dawson knives from what they previously offered, but you still get their crazy distinctive finishes, especially like on this Explorer Elite, this kind of gold finished thing. They have a name for it. Let me look that up because words matter today and I'm just really messing them up. Arizona Copper. Yeah, that is a wicked finish for sure. This knife right here, 5.5 inches long, MagnaCut as mentioned, 405 on the dollars. And if you don't know MagnaCut, the deal with it is tough, it is stainless, and it has really high edge retention. Usually one of those three kind of pillars of steel design suffers when the other two get better, but not so with MagnaCut. It is impressive stuff. Nice long sweep. You've got survival knife vibes. You've got some tactical knife vibes too. It even has some bottle opener vibes with its index finger guard right there. Not sure if that was intentional or not. I'm not sure whether that edge would actually like pop through or if you might hit some glass if it does cut through the edge or cut through the cap itself. I don't know. Kind of looks like it though, doesn't it, Thomas?
A little bit.
We'll wait till after 5 and we'll try it out. We'll test it out.
We have to wait?
Yes.
Oh.
I'm not going to admit that on camera anyway.
Ah.
Now it comes out. It's pretty neat, man. G10 handles, blue and black on this one, but we've got a few different colors going on. Plenty of length on here. I might wish that the index finger guard or the index finger groove was maybe a little bit wider for me. It's not too bad. As for the sheath, these things are wicked awesome as well. It's kind of a Kydex leather hybrid. You've got, I'm assuming it's Kydex, but you have a thermoformed backer and leather on the front. Holds pretty securely, as you can see right there. You really have to kind of push it out quite, intentionally, I should say. As for the leather backer, it is a two-way belt loop, essentially. You can carry it standard, vertical-wise, or you can carry it horizontal. It might be a little bulky, but if you got a nice thick gun belt or something like that, that should work really well. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention that became more visible as I had it in the sheath there, the protruding tang here at the back actually tapers a little bit. Doesn't come to an edge, but it's going to make it a little more effective perhaps as a little scraping device right there. Really, really cool knife. As for the deep notch, which again, these are just two of the variety of patterns we have in right now. This one is about 250. The blade length is 3 3/8, thinner than the Explorer, which was about 3/16 of an inch, we'll say. Maybe a little bit thicker. This one is more like an 1/8 of an inch on the deep notch, a little slicier, high hollow grind on that, a little bit of recurve to the drop point shape, but good jimping here at the back as well as near the tip if you're going to use this for some hunting or skinning uses. No finger guard per se, but an aggressive finger notch or finger groove to rest your index finger in, and a little bit of jimping back there too, actually. Comfortable handles here. This would be a really cool EDC, really cool hunting knife, really cool companion knife to some larger stuff in the outdoors, or a standalone one if you're going ultralight hiking. Maybe not ultralight, but lightweight hiking. You want some strength and rigidity, but you don't want to go too big. This could be a good choice for sure. But as for the EDC aspects, the sheath is kind of the same deal. It's the thermoformed Kydex on the back and leather on the front, but it comes with this hook right here, or I guess clip is actually a more appropriate term for this. I wouldn't call this a pocket fixed blade, but inside the waistband should work really well with this sort of thing. And then if history holds, I believe they make these hole patterns compatible with a tech lock, so you could add a traditional belt attachment if you wish. Yeah, that's going to be no problem right there. That matches up perfectly. Really cool. Check out the full selection at the link below. All right, next up. There's a couple items we've looked at so far that I think are especially gifty. The Bokers at the front, again with their nice kind of old school and classic timeless vibe going on, I think work really well. This next one is a little bit off the wall, but could also work really well. But it's one of the stereotypical kind of Father's Day and Christmas gifts for the fellas in your life. The personal grooming stuff. How about the Tops Tac-Rake beard comb? US made to the same kind of standards as their full-on fixed blades, only it's a comb. And I'm gonna give them a hard time. Tac-Rake, tactical comb. Perhaps overusing the term tactical, but I like it regardless of what it's called. About 98 bucks, and you've got, actually, I didn't check to see if this was a carbon steel blade. It is, but it's coated, and you've got micarta scales on the back, or micarta handles on the back. I wouldn't call them scales because they actually envelop the tang of the comb. And yes, this is not a full tang comb, as you can see, but it's a full length tang for the tactical.
For those extra tough snarls.
I really don't mean to be giving Tops like too hard of a time right here, because I do enjoy this item. It's just, it's kind of funny. It's really strong, and I suppose you could, in a pinch, use this as an impact thing. It does feel rather strong, so I'll let it slide this time. This time, Tops. It does come with, see, normally I keep sheaths over here in the table next to me, and which is fine because there's only a handful of fixed blades or things on any given week, but there's a lot today, so I had to dig for the leather sleeve for this comb. Nice classy presentation right there, and sure to make an impression when you do get it out of the sleeve. Next up, we have a new Toor knives fixed blade. This is the Vellum. Also a bit of a tactically Nessmuck vibes going on. Maybe a little bit of a cross between a Nessmuck and a Canadian belt knife pattern. It might even be more Yeah, it's somewhere in between there. It's pretty cool. $275 for this knife, made in the USA, 3.5-inch blade, and it's all Skinner. CPM 154 steel, thin blade stock, 3.5 inches long. I mean, this thing is ready for those big sweeping cuts. Definitely the right size to get your fingertip out there near the point of the knife. Decent in a stronghold like so if you're using it for other things, pushing through a bigger task. Handle length, I could maybe use a little bit of softening here for me personally on that beak right there. In that hammer grip at least, or saber grip I guess I'm showing you right here. Pinch grips work great, that choked up grip works great. Feels nice, very agile. Handles are ebony and they are kind of jigged, I would say. It almost looks like an elk horn texture actually on, or a stag texture, but on wood. Very, very cool, I would say. As for the sheath, it is Kydex. You've got their leather-like texture on the outside. You will need to supply your own tech lock or T-clip or something similar for belt attachment, unless I'm just missing something. I didn't see one in the box, but very cool package. I really like that shape. You folks know I'm primed to like that kind of shape, though. I like the sliciness of it, too. You know, big, overbuilt, thick, fixed blades are great. Believe me, they are. But thinner slicey knives are great too. And I've got one more fixed blade, and it is a thin and slicey knife, very thin and slicey knife actually. It is a CIVIVI. Kind of modified karambit thing going on. This is the Midwatch fixed blade. 110 for this knife right now. N690 blade steel, about 3.4 inches long. Very broad clip point shape. I really like that. And check out how thin that stock is. With the full flat grind as well on that, this thing should be a slicing demon. What is the thickness on here? 0.106, that can't be right. If that's really thin. That is phenomenally thin blade steel right there. I really like it. Few different handle materials. This is kind of the green and brown burlap micarta. 3 holes in the handle for some pass-through options and a little extra grip. The fingertips really grab onto that section quite nicely. Whether you're doing the standard forward grip, which is actually the not standard karambit style reverse grip, they each feel really good. I would probably take this fob off personally. It's kind of flopping around a little bit, but it is it is simply looped on, so it would be very easy to take that off if you wish. I won't do it here. How cool is that, man? I love it. I love the sliciness. I love to see CIVIVI doing some stuff like that. But we've got a lot of We and CIVIVI to look at. We, of course, is the, that always sounds like, We is this, no. We Knife Company is the parent company of CIVIVI, which is the more budget-oriented stuff, comparatively. This is the CIVIVI Odd, the ODD, all caps, or Odd 22. Comes in about $60. You've got a 3-inch blade with Sandvik's 14C 28N steel on it. Really good stuff. One of my favorites in the more affordable range. I've said it before, I'll say it again. G10 for the handles. Deep carry clip with reversibility, which is cool. And you've got a liner lock and ball bearings in the pivot with this knife. So you've got the flipper tab and thumb studs to take advantage of those ball bearings. Thumb studs work very nicely. I could probably do that even better. Oh yeah, super satisfying. Can I do the reverse flick? Yep, real easy. And then of course the flipper tab is gonna work great. This is actually based on the Catalyst 2 from Tuff Knives, which is a Jeffrey Blovelt design. Very cool and a very affordable way to get your hands on something like this. Has kind of a stout feel for a 3-inch knife, which is something I appreciate for sure. Next up, we've got 2 new Banters, a new CIVIVI Baby Banter and a wee full-size Banter with Cuibourtia wood. I'm pretty sure I'm still pronouncing that roughly correctly. Really cool. Speaking of like the nice, gifty, timeless looking things, this one has kind of that same vibe this time of year. There's something classy about this and classic. Despite black blades not being like a classic or old school thing, the vibes on these are very, very cool. And of course, more new Banters. We just had some new Banters last week, including the Big Banter. I guess Ben's gonna have to add some new rungs to his Banter board over there. And if you're unfamiliar, if you don't know what we're talking about, the Banter board, we'll have a link up there.
Yeah.
We can link to the shorts, right?
We can link to shorts.
Check it out. It's pretty impressive device he's got there. The small version, of course, 2.34-inch blade, Nitro V blade steel, $63 for this one. And you can still get almost a 3.5 finger grip, at least for me. Some folks might even be able to get a 4-finger grip. I think Seth actually can, using the finger choil there at the front. But it's a nice, small pocket knife design. Deep carry clip, reversible, would work well in a 5th pocket on your pair of blue jeans if you wanted to take that clip off, or not actually. But that's a nice place for this if you don't want to carry it in your otherwise standard position. Lot of good fit and finish on that design right there. And then of course the Wii version, a little bit bigger, a little bit more pricey, $113. Got S35 VN blade steel on this one, and good geometry overall. Thin enough, almost a full flat grind for good slicing, and that symmetrical spear point for ultimate versatility, and that 3-inch blade length that means you can take it just about anywhere too. Handles feel great. I love the look and feel of the wood. It still, however, maintains the thing I like about the Banter, the full-size Banter, is you can really get a full kind of meat and potatoes grip on this knife and really push it harder than you might expect such a compact and clean design to be able to do, but it does pull it off. I mean, bam. You can really push on that if you want to, but it still has the nimbleness and the agility that I appreciate in EDCs of this size. Very, very cool. Moving up the ladder on the Wii side, we have the High-Fin, a Gavko design, of course. I say of course because look at the shape. Could it be anything but a Gavko design?
I know it's a reverse Tanto.
You make me sad.
Yes.
Yeah, but no, I'm gonna go out on a limb here. It is a harpooned modified sheep's cliff.
You're allowed to be wrong.
What I do like about the blade, however, despite its cool shape, and it is a cool shape, is, again, appropriately thin blade stock. I appreciate that. Hollow grind, we'll say it's a high saber hollow there. Sure, we'll call it that. So it means you have really thin geometry behind the edge right there. This should be a very precise and satisfying cutter. The handles are made from titanium. They are contoured and stone-washed and colored. In this case, there's a few different color options, of course. You can get it in black as well if you wish. And let me see, is there a Damasteel option this time around? Yes, there is. $584 for the Damasteel versions. Quite a jump up. As for the feel in the hand, kind of a 3.5 finger grip for me, so it's premium but not oversized, and again, not over tanky either. The milled clip sits pretty nicely under there. You can feel it, but it's not too pinchy, which I like. But let's be honest, ergonomics are a little bit secondary to just the style of this thing. I appreciate that there are some decent ergonomics there, but no one's buying this for the filling grip. You're buying it because it looks awesome, and boy, does it. Lockup, well, super solid, no wiggle to speak of at all. Thumb stud only here. This is not a flipper design. Ball bearings in the pivot, but it flips or flicks fantastically. Next up, we have the Charith from Wii Knife Company. And there are a few versions of this. Each one is limited in number. This is the Tiger Stripe Flamed Frag Titanium Handle version. And this one, they are actually serialized. This one's 266 out of 310. Someone out there may wind up with this particular knife. Blade length, 3 inches here, 20 CV blade steel. Perfect do everything drop point shape, full flat grind on nice thin blade steel. This is gonna be just a great everyday carry pocket knife. If you don't need something that's overbuilt or super heavy duty, if you just need a premium pocket knife, you still want it to cut really nicely, this is gonna be a really cool choice. I really like the Frag Titanium too. Has a cool texture to it. It kind of breaks up the flamed titanium finish going on, which is a favorite finish of mine, I would say, on high-end titanium knives. Gives it a new vibe, which is pretty cool. Frame lock here on the back. Titanium pocket clip, but it is deep carry, which is pretty cool, and it is reversible, which is also appreciated. As far as the lockup goes, as far as, I keep doing that. I'm saying as the lockup goes, and then I close the knife in the process. So let's talk about the flipping action first, shall we? Ball bearings in the pivot. I really like the profile while the blade is closed, but as soon as you want to get it out and going, the ball bearings and the crisp detent there work great. And the lockup, perfect. As you would expect. And I'm not disappointed. Very cool. Price, $217.50 for this one. Check out it and the other handle versions that are on offer. You can get a few for about $209 as well. Next up, we have a premium QSP knife. A lot of their stuff is highly budget oriented. This one is punching up a little bit. This is the Hamster. Love the name. 2-inch S35 VN blade with titanium handles, about $140 for this knife. It's pretty cool. 3-finger grip for me, or maybe even 2.5 right there. Almost verges on like keychain size territory, but it's not. It still has a decently solid grip, I'd say. And if you're breaking down cardboard with it, I would probably pinch grip it like so and come in. That way I actually do get my 4th finger on the tail end of that knife. So it's a pretty decent hold for just a 2-inch blade. Not a hand-filling grip for sure, but very controllable 2-inch blade right there. Milled titanium pocket clip, really cool milling on the titanium handles there. There's definitely some machine time going into that right there. The lockup, did it in the right order this time. Lockup is super solid. The flipping action on the ball bearings there, also super solid. And sometimes small knives can be hard to flip. This one is not. This one is quite easy, as you can see. Even for my hand size, sometimes I have to kind of contort a little bit more than some folks just to get onto the small knives. This one does not feel compromised one bit at all. And last but not least, we have got some more affordable knives. We've recently brought in Kubey knives. They make some really nice affordable stuff, such as this knife right here. This is the Coeus. It comes in about $39. And for what you're paying, everything here is honestly super excellent. 3.1-inch blade, D2 steel, full flat grind. Bit of a, almost like a budget Spyderco alternative, one might say. One might. And about the same price as some of the bird knives that are out there, but fit and finishes and materials are definitely a few steps up from those. We have ball bearings in the pivot, we have a liner lock, we have G10 handle scales, and a deep carry pocket clip, which is reversible. So it hits all those notes really nicely. As for the action, on those ball bearings, you've got a nice reverse flick on it. The D2 steel is going to give you good edge retention. The stone washed finish is going to help hide scratches as you actually use the knife. I can't think of anything that I think they ought to do differently at this price range. It's spot on, I'd say. Thomas might say, but
Oh my.
it's quite excellent. A few different handle colors and blade options right now. One of the other handful of Kubeys that are on the site right now is the Flash Flipper. Same price, 39 bucks, but you get more. This is a nearly 4-inch long blade, D2 steel again, G10 handles again, deep carry reversible clip, liner lock, and ball bearings again as well. It's got it all. That's a lot of knife for the money for sure. Decently, both of these knives have appropriately thick or thin blade stock, depending on how you look at it, with very slicey, flat grinds going on. Man, I really appreciate that. Great flipping action too. I mean, what more could you want for that kind of money? Or for, almost twice that money, I'd say even. Check them out. Handful of models on the site right now. Those are just 2 of them. They all feel pretty good, the ones I've felt so far. So that's all we have for today, folks. Let me know what you thought of the knives down in the comments section. And if you want to get your hands on any of them, check out the links in the description. That'll take you over to KnifeCenter.com. And don't forget about our Knife Rewards program, because whether you're buying a knife for yourself or someone else this time of year, you're going to get some free money to spend on your next knives. I'm David C. Anderson from the Knife Center, signing off.
I'm over here.
I know.
Bye.
And that's Thomas behind the camera. See you next time.